What's up, everybody? Today we're back to Down to a Wire podcast. I'm Bryce,
Ross.
and today we're here with a very special guest.
All right. So just a quick warm welcome. 2018 Maryland Elite All-Star, and he averaged 18 points and 9.9 rebounds at Magruder High School in his senior year. And honestly, the most hops in person I've ever seen. Ebby Asamoah. So welcome, Ebby.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How's quarantine going?
Man, it's going pretty good. Everything's shut down right now, but still working out the founded brim. That's actually not taken down, so
That's good. That's good.
looking pretty good.
All right. So we're just gonna get right into the questions. Bryce.
Yeah, so I have the first question for you, Abby. Why did you choose UD, and what other schools gave you offers at the time?
At the time, I actually committed to UD in the spring, so I committed pretty late. And at the time, I had 6 or 7 other D2 offers, but I didn't have any D1 offers at the time. So, like I was kind of just waiting for like something to happen. I ended up talking to one of my AU coaches. He he knew a bunch of people, so he worked his magic, got in touch with Coach Inglesby and Coach Phillips, and they came out to see me play in like a little AAU tournament. Saying I had to show off for them a little bit. They offered me, came down to Magruder, watched me work out a couple of times, and then I had an official visit over there, and they offered me, so I just took it.
Very
All right.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then just next question. What was it like being on a team that had the best start in program history at 9-0? And what was it like with the atmosphere in the locker room and around the team? I mean, I was there obviously as your manager, but I can't give you the best answer. I think you can give me a better answer than that.
Yeah. Like it was crazy overall. Like the whole team, like we're actually brothers. We're all brothers. We all get along so well. So, having like a ride like that, like a 9-0 start, like it was really like everyone was positive. Everyone was supporting each other. Like everything was perfect at the time. It was like clockwork. And Coach Inglesby helped keep that all together. So like it was really great, especially coming into the program, like starting off like that, knowing what we had, like coming into the season, knowing like how we actually like put it down to teams. So
Yeah,
it was a great start.
awesome.
All right, so I got the third question for you. Was it a big change going into the season, starting off without Dylan until the middle of the season when he came back and became eligible? And what kind of impact did that have on the team?
Um, I mean, it was. I don't really think it impacted the team that much. I think it was just like a constant, like just keep working, like just get ready. So like I stayed prepared and actually came back.
All right. And then looking back at your freshman year as a whole, what was the best part about being a Blue Hen this year? And what do you think the biggest struggle or challenge you had? Maybe it wasn't athletically, just academically, maybe, or anything, maybe practicing, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you thought.
The first question, what I basically what I loved the most was the games, man. Like literally seeing the competition, like playing Villanova was my favorite game by far because that's literally seeing the top of the basketball like college competition, and from there I can sort of hold myself to a standard. You know what I'm saying? So it was really great playing them. That was easily my favorite moment of the year. But I would say the hardest part of the season was definitely time management. Coming in as a freshman, like I had no idea what college was gonna be like. Classes started hitting me back and forth. I had to go to practice every day, lift, tired, had to do homework. But once I caught to my schedule, I had a lot of help from my advisors and coaches. Once I caught to the schedule, it was like everything's like clockwork. Like they really help us out, and they help us find a rhythm that we can stay.
Awesome, awesome. And final question for you: when did you or did anyone expect or have an idea that Nate would be entering the draft? and trying to maintain his eligibility or maintaining it? And where do you see him helping an NBA team if he gets drafted this year?
Well, Nate's a great. He's like basically a leader on our team. He just does everything right, basically. It's crazy to say, but like his feel for the game is really like it's incredible to watch. Like I've even told him like I look up to him. I ask him for a few tips on my game, like he helps me out. But yeah, we had no idea like he was gonna enter the draft, but like it was kind of like it was like anticipated a little bit like from the team because he had such a good season. Like why not? Like
Yeah, yeah.
season like that, and especially like I think with this whole like coronavirus thing, like the draft is probably gonna be a little different this year. Like they're gonna have to do different things for like workouts maybe or like watch film more. So that could be a strength for him getting drafted on the team for sure. But if he was drafted to a team, I would see his role as maybe like a secondary ball handler shooter. And if he works on his scoring more, I see him potentially being like a scoring threat in the NBA, like a really good one, because he has a great 3-point shot, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's like the strongest part of his game. So
Yeah, I think just even me rebounding him, I just before games at times, everyone had a great shot on the team, but I think Nate was just I don't think we could say we've ever seen in person someone shoot like that.
yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's all the questions we have for you. We thank you again for being on the show. You're our first
Thanks for
guest, so
coming, man.
big deal, big deal. Only going up from here.
Yeah.
And I wish you luck. Stay safe, and we'll see you next year. We'll see what can bring to the table, what UD can bring to the table next year.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Good luck, Abby.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you. All right. So that was Ebby. Great first guest for us.
Yep.
Good start. So now we're just gonna bounce right into the next segment. It's gonna be the Jaylen Green topic. It's a pretty big deal right now. Just to give a quick background story before we go into it, decommitted from USC. Was this year. Just keep in mind while we go through all this that the G League average for players is 44,000. This is going to go into my opinion on this, but we'll just put that there. Was the first player to do this. It was offered, I think, started last year. It's a 1 year, $100,000 paid contract with college. I'm pretty sure college is allowed if it's obviously online, or if I guess it'll be doing maybe one in the area that they'll be having it. Just we do know that scholarships will be allowed for college through the NBA. Once he's done, he can declare for the draft just like any other player if they went overseas, like LaMelo Ball or whatnot. It's going to be a 10 to 12 game season against other G League teams, and it's going to have vets or older vets on the team around that, and they'll be playing with him and mentoring him. And bonuses will be based on games played, community activities attended, whatnot, just like any other NBA player. And this will just be so he can get the experience. And then, once this was once increased from the $125,000 salary initially offered the year prior. And Isaiah Todd was the next guy to decommit from Michigan. McCur, Kareem Main, Kai Sato, and those guys are all possible candidates for joining him. So we're going to start off, Bryce. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting decision by Jaylen. It's definitely a little abnormal. Um, I'm not sure if we've seen this before, and if we have, it wasn't big in the news, and it was definitely not very recent. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm really interested to see if this. I mean, I guess his draft stock for some people is already the number one pick, but
Yeah.
if it wasn't, I would like to ask. I'd like to find out if this helps his draft stock, or maybe it hurts it. I don't know. Um, and I'd like to see if this helps Isaiah Todd's draft stock. I think it's interesting that he kind of. I don't know if Jalen influenced Isaiah, but It seems like maybe he followed in his footsteps. Yeah, I mean, I doubt it, but if this is the new way to get yourself into the NBA instead of a one and done college thing, then that's really interesting. That makes a lot more money for the NBA. In this particular situation, I think maybe it was smart for Jalen because you don't have to pay money to go to college. You're just making a $500,000 profit plus. If you can get a shoe deal without, you know, I mean, you can't get that while you're in college.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot different than the college one done thing. I think it's interesting. So it's kind of hard to decide whether I think this is going to be better than college or if, maybe this is just a big thing just for this next year or two, and then it's not really a thing anymore to get yourself to the league. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out and if this is going to be the future to get yourself to the NBA or not.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I mean I understand 500,000 is better than the 125,000. It's only for the top five guys who'd be in the next draft class, and yes, I understand that you want to give them a little more maybe than the G League players because they're going to be getting that $1 million contract or multi-million-dollar contract next year. I just don't understand why, if let's say it's going to be they're the top five or six of the top, let's say 15, 20 guys who are going to be in the draft. I just don't understand why you're giving them a $500,000 deal when the rest of the G League is getting 44,000. If that's the case, then either the G League cap needs to go higher or something needs to be changed. Because just to me, I feel like it's like you come out of high school. I know you work like a dog in high school, but these G League players, you can make an argument that they're working harder than some of these high schoolers. So I mean, there's got to be some form of incentive or bonus, maybe that's we don't know about, but just in general, the G League should be getting. It's honestly, I think that's just not really right. Um, Also, I don't love how some of that's working with the 10 to 12 to 10 or 10 to 12 game season. Honestly, I think they should just enter the G League draft, get drafted by a G League team, and then next year they can enter the draft, the normal NBA draft. Because I think not only does that help the G League, obviously, either way they're making money, but definitely put them on a team that may be struggling. Like a team like the Mad Ants, let's say. I don't know if they're struggling, but just like a team that's in a random place, or like Delaware Blue Coats, just put them on a team that's maybe not be the best because they're definitely drafting first and may not be the worst spot to be in, but it also gives them the idea of like they got to travel with a team for 10 to 12 games, maybe just make it a 10 to 12 game stretch instead of just spread out 10 to 12 games, see what it's like to travel like that. And it's definitely going to be a tougher way to travel than an NBA team, so it just gives them a little spark jolt to life, like this is like wake up, like this is
Yeah.
this is real life.
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, do you have anything to say back to
Yeah, I
that?
mean, I agree with you on that. I'd rather just see him get picked by a G League team, play the full season, and then get drafted by the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even say like play with the team for all the games. Just practice with them all the time, and then eventually play the 10 to 12 games. I know they want to make sure they're not getting hurt. That's the whole point of it. Make them play less games. They'll feel inclined, even less than the NCAA. So that's definitely an option. Um,
yeah, I mean, do you see this being a more popular route to get to the NBA, or is college still the thing?
Right now, college is still the thing. I think it's going to definitely dethrone college at some point. Maybe they'll just make a whole developmental league for it. So like they'll have the G League for the players like that, and then they'll just have another league that's going to be of, let's say, maybe 6 players, 7 players on a team. It's maybe a shortened game, so you have less people on each team, and just kind of have them play. That's another way to do it. It'll be like a small college thing for the top guys. Because think about it, there's only 60 guys who get drafted.
Yeah,
And what, 40, the top 40 are really the guys you're really looking at to maybe be a key piece to your team. Okay, we know Isaiah Thomas and Draymond Green, but you understand, I think that
yeah,
it's, yeah. I think it's a good idea. I think it's just there's going to be a lot of changes that's going to need to be made in the future with it. Um,
yeah. I mean, So far, I haven't really seen anything that tells me this is a bad thing. I've only seen good things from this. The G League's gonna make money. Uh, it's good for Jaylen, at least financially, and it doesn't look like, I mean, ever since this decision was made, I don't hear or see anything about his draft stock going down. So, I mean, it's interesting, and I mean, there's nothing bad about it as of yet. So,
I mean, honestly, if you can get paid, get paid. I don't blame you. And that's going to become a problem, or is the NCAA going to want to pay players? And I think this will definitely help. Maybe it'll be the same price as the G League getting 44 grand. Um, Maybe they'll just start saying every NCAA player who's eligible, instead of getting paid, are going to get full scholarships no matter what. Maybe even D3 players. But that also creates more competition. Sorry, Bryce, but I think you understand that I think there's an importance to education, and not everyone's going to be first thing. Like, again, someone who may not be the best player coming out of high school, they're going to need a year or two to really develop, and they're not even an option to go into the draft. Guys like Obi Toppin, they were mentioned. That came up a lot. No one expected him to be an NBA candidate his freshman year.
yeah.
Look where he is now. So, actually, shout out Ossining. He's same area as us, Westchester.
Yep.
So, woohoo. But but yeah. So, definitely be a possibility for the future. And I think maybe instead of having them play with them, the vets, like it was saying, have them just have 5 vets, maybe let's say per year, or the same ones. Just they're always on like a hotline. You can call them and just be there to advise you. Or they give one vet to one player. Maybe that's another way to do it. I was thinking that could be a cool idea. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think this is interesting for the NCAA because does it push them to pay their players or not? You know?
yeah,
And I think you're at least somewhat accurate with that. I mean, it might lead to just like a bigger scholarship or even a full-time scholarship. Like you just don't even have to pay to go to school as long as you're playing, as long as you're eligible. Um, but I don't think it's gonna be as much as a G League contract. I don't it like let's say they either don't have to pay this either they get a scholarship and they basically aren't paying for school. If that
yeah,
happens, I don't think they're also gonna get paid along with that.
hmm
Or maybe they still have to pay as much as they owe the school, like full tuition or whatever, but maybe if they do it that way, I think they'll get paid, but not as much as a G League player. They'll probably get like a few $1,000s or something. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
yeah, it's for sure. So I think we're all set for that one.
Yeah,
Unless we have any more ideas.
yeah. So we're gonna move into our next segment now. Last week you guys saw us predict uh the MLB standings for the AL East. We mentioned who we think is gonna be first place, second place, third, fourth, and fifth for that division. The most improved team, the division winner, and who has the brightest future. So we're gonna do the NL East today. So Russ, why don't you go first?
All right. So we'll go with, I guess, the order first. I got. Oh, man, this is tough. It's interesting. I'm sorry. We're
It's
gonna
a
have
tough
to.
division this year.
Yeah, I'm sorry to disrespect some of these teams here, and I'm sorry to all my New York people, but you can't ever count on the Mets. So we're gonna put probably Atlanta, Philly,
Okay.
Philly or Washington. I don't know. That's gonna be tough. Philly or
Okay.
Washington. Um, the Mets, and then Miami. Um, Only reason I'm saying the Mets are going to be fourth is that it's going to end up being a stacked. It's going to be a top-heavy division, maybe even stacked throughout the whole thing. This is going to be the first time in a while that all four or five teams in that division are going to actually be considered for a playoff candidate. Hey, maybe the wild cards end up being the Mets and Phillies, or the Washington and the Mets. This is gonna be interesting. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, again, Atlanta's at my number one because their team's so good. I just think they're gonna choke in the playoffs like they always do. Um, you got Washington. That team didn't really change much, so you got to expect them to come back with just like loaded, stacked, ready to do it again. Huge confidence. They picked up Starlin Castro this offseason. I think that was a big help. I think he had that off year last year, like LeMahieu had when he came to the Yankees. And let's see if he can hit 300 again. And then the Phillies, Bryce Harper, you know all that. So yeah, and then Miami is St. Petersburg down there. Not doing. We'll see. I think he's worrying too much about Tom Brady living in his house right now
Yeah.
than the actual team.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I thought the Braves were gonna make it farther last season, but um yeah, for my order, I got the Braves going first. I think they'll probably have around the same record as last year. I'm hoping they make it farther in the playoffs this time. I think they potentially can. Um, and then second, even though the Nationals don't have Rendon anymore, I think
oh
they'll
yeah, that I forgot about Rendon. Oh,
yeah, I think they'll probably still be second place, but it's gonna be really close between them and the Phillies. Um, uh, it's going to be really close between them and the Phillies. So either second or third. And even if if one of those teams ends up being third, they might still make the wild card, very
yeah,
possibly. So, and then I have the Mets fourth. I mean, they're like they have been the last few years. They'll probably start off very hot and then come back down to earth very quickly. I'm not even
yeah,
sure if they'll have a positive record. We'll see. And then I got the Marlins in fifth place. They're gonna be worse than the Mets. So yeah.
yeah. And I see the Mets. Like I know they have a decent roster, and like I know
I
they had.
love their pitching staff.
Yeah, no, their starting pitching is great. I think that was great. I think they didn't do much to bolster the bullpen, and everyone was talking about Diaz is going to be so great again. Diaz had it again an okay season. Not everyone goes for it's like Mookie Betts, and you look at what's his name, JD Martinez. They both had insane seasons. It doesn't happen every year like Mike Trout or like a Christian Yelich where it happens 2 years in a row. It's very uncommon to see that happen. So Diaz was good. I don't obviously not as good as he was the year before. Familia, you never know with him. Betances, if that guy comes back and his health stays healthy. Um, they picked up Chase and Shreve this year. I didn't even notice. They have like the freaking Yankees bullpen. It's insane. They have Justin Wilson,
Yeah.
Shreve. Wow, I didn't even know they had that many people from them. But yeah, I mean we'll see. You have a guy in Marcus Stroman who doesn't even want to be there. Cough, cough, wanted to be on the Yankees.
Yep.
So I mean, like I don't know. I don't know what to really make of this team, but I just yeah.
Yeah. I also just thought I'd mention well, I hate that this happened because I'm a Yankees fan and this is a fan favorite player, but at the same time, for the Phillies' sake, I love that they got Didi. Just wanted to
Oh
put that
yeah,
out there.
I huge. I think every Yankees fan's a Didi fan.
Yeah.
Like you gotta
Yeah.
love him, and I don't think. I mean, Torres was good at shortstop, but I think it was better to be stacked and have Urshela and Andahar fight for that spot than have Didi go and just
Yeah.
was
They
he did struggle a bit last year, but it's also like you have to look like he was out of the league for the first 2 months. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. The Yankees infield situation is gonna be very interesting.
oh well, and especially if Luke Voigt doesn't do well, they move LeMahieu and they put in Andahar, or Andahar doesn't do well, you put in
Maybe.
Voigt. They have a
Yeah.
lot. They have a lot. They still even with it's insane to say even with Didi gone, they have a lot to play with. They
Yeah.
have a lot.
They
They got
do.
arsenal, yeah, and
Yeah.
I think just starting pitching and the biggest thing staying healthy. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's huge. I mean, next freaking lung collapse from Judge. Like I don't even know. I
Yeah,
mean,
if the Yankees were completely healthy, I would say they'd probably have top three starting rotation for the pitching, but unfortunately they got a lot of injuries, so their pitching staff is with injuries, it's just not top three right now. But
I think they're just gonna like one day Garrett Cole's gonna be on the plane, the next day he's gonna be gone. We're just not gonna know where he is. We're gonna like next thing you know, lost Garrett Cole. Like not like he's dead, but just lost him. Like we just don't know where he is. Like we're just gonna start losing players. We'll just leave them
comes
under the
back with no
yeah.
explanation.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't kidnapped. Nothing wrong happened. Just he was gone. Like he just
Yeah,
disappeared. It was like a magic trick.
yeah.
You know.
So what team do you have for most improved this season?
All right, most improved. I have um probably the Phillies. The 81-81 record. I was about to say the Mets, but again, I don't know. I think they'll be about the same record wise, maybe a little better. I think it's going to be the Phillies. I think they have something to prove this year. It's Philly. They added Didi. They have Segura still. They have Harper. Uh, I think they're going to be out to yeah out to kill it.
Yeah, I also got the Phillies. I thought they were going to be a little better than 81-81 last year, but I think this is the year that they make the playoffs. We'll see. Maybe they make a push, maybe not. But yeah, I got them as my most improved as well. So yeah, I think I mean the Braves they already made the playoffs last year, and
97.
The Nationals don't need to improve. They just want a championship. So yeah, I got the Braves as well.
Well, that
Um,
could improve for them. I mean, most improved. I mean, they won a championship. They had 93 wins. I think if you're in that 90 plus category, I don't think there's much to improve on. I think you just got to do some work to make it better. I
yeah,
think it's safe to say. So again, now we're, I guess, division winner. Uh,
yeah,
I think it's going to be Atlanta again.
yeah,
And if not, it's going to be the Nationals.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. So,
yeah. I got the Braves.
yeah.
And who do you think has the brightest future?
Brightest future. Maybe Miami's cooking something down there, but yeah, I can't really say. I think Atlanta.
All right.
Though they already had like they've been first place 1 2 years in a row. They've been in the playoffs. I think obviously if you look at all these teams, they have like the youngest guys, the a strong nucleus in who they have with Akura or Acuna. Sorry, I said his name wrong.
Can you?
And who else is on that team? Oh my gosh, um, Acuna. Sorry, they have what's his name? Oh my gosh, they had the starter. What's his name? Who was so freaking good? I forget. All right, whatever. We're gonna go past that because I'm over.
Um, but yeah, and
Yeah.
then that's right though. But
Oh, and they have a Met. They have Travis DiArno, and I forgot Freddie Freeman. Travis. Ugh,
Freddie
they're gonna
Freeman,
lose now.
yeah, Freddie
Oh,
Freeman's a
they picked up
beast.
Andy Hechavarria this year.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. But yeah, brightest future. I would love to say the Phillies, but I gotta pick the Braves. The the Phillies almost have the brightest future. They'll have the brightest future out of all those teams in a year or two from now. But I think it's the Braves. They got a solid squad. Um, they're close. They're a few steps away from getting to that ultimate goal that we all want. So yeah, I got the Braves.
Also, just random thing to drop in there. I don't know why, but I guess like the Miami's the new Yankees farm system because we're their farm system because they picked up Francisco Cervelli this year. Don't know why, but they have him on the roster as a catcher. I just what I don't Cervelli. Oh, they had him last year, I guess, but yeah, they had him last year. But like to go from no, they didn't. I don't even know why there's a picture of him with that. I guess from spring training. But anyway, they picked up Cervelli. They have that guy Garrett. They have who I freaking know. What is this? You know, like just get all the bad Yankees players out and bring them to him. I guess it's whatever. Oh, we'll see. But we have a little more time here, so seems like looks like we're gonna go into the one of the biggest news today, one of the biggest things on the list, and that's the Red Sox scandal and the punishment. Um, so they got a $5 million fine. They got their second round pick taken. Alex Cora was suspended for the year, and I think that was it. Was there any more? Uh,
I think that was it.
5 million loss of their second. Um, yeah, so we'll see, but I know or no, sorry, that was not a $5 million fine. It was just the second round pick loss, the Alex Cora suspension, and I think there was one other thing. But
Yeah, there was one other thing.
yeah, it was led by a 30-year-old uh 30-year-old guy who was a film guy or whatever. But anyway, going into that, I think again this was a small slap on the wrist. Not even. I think the Astro was a slap on the wrist. This is like we're gonna just give you a quick spanking, call it a day. I just, I'm okay. My opinion. I think this is why baseball's having an issue. I think this needed to be. We're done with this. End of story. I think players should have been. I don't think they should have given immunity to players. I think players should have been suspended. I think the first 30 games they would have had to forfeit. I think that would have been fair. You know, you start off with 0 and 30. I mean, you can either play those games, you don't have to play those games, but you start off
Yeah.
at 30.
I mean, you might as well play those games and they just count as a loss no matter what because you can't just tell the 30 other opponents, oh, you're not starting until 30 games into the season.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, this is kind of a slap on the wrist. I agree. You know, the Astros, their punishment was worse, however, still kind of a slap on the wrist. If anything, I mean, if you want to say maybe it was a harder slap on the wrist, but still, not enough of a punishment. I understand people who don't want the history of the sport or any sport rearranged or changed, and that's why some people say don't take away the trophy. You can't just leave
Yeah.
an empty blank space for 2017, 2018. And I get that, and that's a really for that reason, it's a great argument. It's a hard decision, but you know what? At the end of the day, it might be worth it because if you do that, that's one of maybe the worst punishment that a cheating team in any sport can get. You know, like, never mind, sorry, you didn't win it that year. You cheated. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're taking it back. Come to the commissioner's office and hand in your rings. Sorry, you cheated. Um, it might be worth it though because, you know, if you do that, that's this might sound cliche, but that's scary. A team's not going to want to cheat, get caught, and then have their trophy taken away.
Oh, I mean, I know this isn't the NCAA. I think that's the problem. Is this isn't college? College, they would have stripped it like they did with
Yeah, with
the
Louisville,
scandal. Yeah, with Louisville.
2013, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I would take it if it's me. I take it. I mean, honestly, you know what? Keep the trophy, keep the rings. I mean, you can't
Or
really do
keep it
anything.
and just say they didn't win that year.
Yeah.
It's
They
out of the
didn't
record
win.
books.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
scratch
according to
it.
you guys, you could say you won. You could put a
Yeah,
pennant
go
up,
ahead.
but
Go
according
ahead.
to MLB
Yeah,
statistics, whatever we put in the Hall of Fame, whatever we put anywhere, you guys
yeah.
aren't one. It's null and void. And then
Not,
that's where the Dodgers, the freaking thing, where we're fighting to win. No, it's no, you didn't win. You didn't win, and you didn't lose.
yeah, neither the Yankees or the Dodgers say that they won it. You could say you could have won it if they didn't cheat. Could have, not officially won it. Um, that's a good point. The other thing I wanted to mention, yeah, I I, I don't know how Astros players and at this point Red Sox players were not suspended. I mean,
Well, the
I know
immunity.
I know the whole thing. Well, yeah, and I know the whole thing with oh, it's gonna take too long to investigate every single one of them to 100% make sure that someone either did or did not participate in this. But I mean, you
I,
have to.
I
I
think
mean,
it was going to turn into a he said, she said, and I think they wanted the honesty, which I
yeah,
understand. But at the same time, I think, if you don't want to put your whole career in jeopardy, you know what? If you think it was Altuve, if you think that was this, if you think it was Beltran, you name those people. And I know Beltran again didn't get suspended because he was a player at the time. He got the immunity, but it's very simple. If you said Beltran was the head of it, and you said Altuve was hit that home run from it, and you say Bregman benefited, there was a few times with the trash can. Whoever was hitting the trash can, whoever did that, whoever was part of it that we know clear evidence of, I don't think it's going to turn into a he said, she said. I think it's going to be very clear. These are the guys who did it. I don't want to hurt my career. And those guys are going to get fined and suspended. And I think Mike Fears did a good job with what he did and going
Mike
public with it.
Fires, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
fire,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I
So,
think, though, again, he's not on the team anymore. They can't really
yeah,
do anything.
yeah.
But I mean, I just think, I
At
just,
least he was honest about it. He wasn't proud about this.
exactly.
He didn't try to deny it. And
Yeah.
and even if it's not possible, I'm just saying I would have loved to see players Altuve, Bregman, Correa. I would have loved to see all those guys get suspended for like half the season. But let's just say for
I
what
mean, we're
reason,
Yankees fans. I mean, we
I
would have
know,
loved it
but
anyway.
I
But
just I just think that's a solid punishment. But if even if that can't happen, I think the next closest thing, the next best thing is, Astros, you lost the first 40 games of the season.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Like I
what you
said,
mentioned,
30.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe you got the Red Sox. Like, sorry, but this isn't your year. You lost the
yeah,
first
yeah.
40 or something like that. I think that would be the next closest thing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I mean, like if you look at the team like the Dodgers who were out like 30 games one year when they made the playoffs, Puig's rookie year, it's still possible to make the playoffs. So you can't argue that you won't make the playoffs. It's still very possible. You're out 30
yeah,
games. I mean, it's obviously it's a killer because then
yeah,
you got to win more games than you lose at that point by a lot, a huge margin. But it's still a big deal.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's what should have happened. I think every baseball fan's upset. Um, yeah.
And if you think the Red Sox Yankees rivalry is bad, then take yourself to a game this year and find out how much worse it
Yeah.
gets,
Oh my
because
gosh,
it's
the
gonna be
Dodgers.
ugly. It's
Uh,
gonna be worse than people yelling at the Astros.
and you heard about the baseball minor league system. I don't know if their minor league team is going to be one of the teams that gets dropped because there are going to be a few that get dropped. I think 40, but they're handing out trash cans. Houston Astro trash. It's like says like Yankees trash. I don't know. It's a huge thing. It's like they're giving out the minor league team these fake little trash cans, and there was something else. I think the Dodgers were like, oh yeah, we're not allowed to say anything on it. Like that savage tweet they put out. I think that was I think no team could get more savage than those two things they brought up. Uh, but I think that definitely let teams talk about it. I think that's the worst thing to say. We don't want to hear about it, and we're gonna like give
Yeah,
fines to people who talk about it. Um, but yeah,
yeah.
all right. So it looks like we're gonna wrap it up with that. Next week, or not next week. I think we should be shooting the next one Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday, yeah.
We are getting into NFL. We're going to be talking about the NFL draft, who was the top few picks, maybe who our teams we thought wanted. I'm a Jets fan. Sadly, he's a Giants fan. So he's had some struggles in the past 10 years. So I guess he can relate to me in that way. But anyway, we'll be talking about that. And we're probably going to talk about a few other things. We may wait, like
More
I said,
MLB
Saturday.
standings.
More MLB standings. And Saturday, I think this is going to be a huge thing. Whoever gets drafted, I want to see where Cam Newton ends up going.
Yeah.
And Jameis Winston, they will
Antonio
be.
Brown.
I will see, and
Apparently Lamar
especially
Jackson wants him.
looks like it's going to be the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers down there. So we're going to want to hear about that. So
Yeah.
we got that for you too next time, and it's great. I mean, I'm happy. I get to wear a Gronk jersey now if I want to, and not be upset because I'm a Jets fan. So we'll definitely be talking about that. And that was Down to the Wire. I'm Ross,
I'm Bryce.
and we'll see you next time. Peace.